Hi there everyone, it's Mindy from My Creative Scoop and I'm back with another tutorial for my favorite things. This month I'm using this adorable new stamp set called Sweater Weather in the Woods. And I've made these really cute little tag cards, and it's almost could be like an ornament too to place on your Christmas tree. But you lift it up and there's a little pocket for some money or a gift card. So I'm going to share with you and walk you through how I created it step by step. So let's get started. Okay, so this piece of cardstock here is going to be the card that goes right on top of our tag. And I'm using a tag that is it's one of the a tag pad that I had gotten. It's just a little craft tag pad. And this piece of cardstock here is going to be 8.5 by 2 1/4 inches. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to fold it. I scored it here at 3 1/4 and also again at 6.5. So this part here is going to be the card, so it's going to open up from the top. You're going to get that nice and pressed down. And then this piece right here is going to go up to create our pocket. So what we're going to do is trim off this corner here. So I'm just going to take my scissors and go and cut from corner to corner. And then I'm going to get a little piece of score tape. This is 1/8 of an inch wide, so that way it has some room for the money or the gift card. And then I'm just going to close it tight. So that way we have our cute little pocket. And now we can decorate our card. Okay, so we have our little card, and then I cut out a piece of the cardstock. This is the paper that I'm using for all of my little tag cards. The Candyland. It came out last year from My Favorite Things. It's one of my favorite paper pads for Christmas. And I'm just going to use some foam tape and apply this piece of the green cardstock to the front of our card. Let's go ahead and place this right in the center. And then I have a strip here, a little scallop border that I found in my little pre-cut container that I keep all my little pre-cut dies in. And I'm just going to go ahead and glue this white strip right down the center so I can have a little bit of an extra decorations here on the front. So let's just glue this down. It doesn't want to come out. Still doesn't want to come out. All right, there we go. So since I added a little bit too much glue, I'm going to go ahead and take some of it off of this side and stick it on here. And then I'm going to take this and set this right down the center, so I have a little bit of the craft coming on each side. And then after we go ahead and color our little moose, I'll go ahead and stick these on and our sentiment afterwards, because I'm using these large sentiments here, and of course you can't fit that all on there. So I'm gonna cut up the words just like I have done on these ones, so that way you can fit all those cute little sayings from this stamp set along onto this cute little tag. So let's go ahead and get the card here glued on. Now since I added a piece of the foam tape onto the green, I'm going to add another piece of foam tape to use the moose on, I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit more for some extra dimension. So I'm just going to go ahead and take my foam tape and apply it to my craft tag. So we'll go ahead and glue this in the center. So the card is just about 1/8 of an inch shorter than the tag. So if you're using a different size tag, I just recommend moving in all of your pieces, however you're gonna decorate it, just in 1/8 of an inch. So that way you have a nice border going around so you can see all the different layers that you're using. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get the colors together and let's color our little moose. Okay, so for the moose, I'm gonna go ahead and use E30, E31, E33, and E25. I'm going to go ahead and start with my E25 so that way I can get those shadows down. And I'm just going to come right underneath the bottom part of his face, and we're just going to make a little shadow right there. Also on the back side of his head over here where it kind of starts to curve down into his nose. And then I'm also going to make a little shadow on the bottom part of his antlers on both sides. And then on the inside part of his neck and dipping down into the inside of his cute little sweater there, we're going to go ahead and make a little shadow as well. So those are going to be all your dark points. Let's go ahead and shadow right underneath the ears as well. Then right underneath the sweater, we're also going to create a shadow, and on the inside parts of his legs, and along the bottom of his feet and tail. So all along the bottom parts of everything. That's where the shadow most makes sense. So now I'm going to use my E33 and I'm just going to push that E25 out a little bit more. So I'm going to go over it a couple of times since the color is a little different. And I want to get a nice blend going along the side of that E25. So I'm going to extend it to make the color come out here a little bit more. So each time you use a new lighter color, you want to come out a little bit more, filling in that image, which means you want to come out along the sides a little bit more and also on the inside part. So it gets filled in just a little bit more each time. And then on the inside parts of the legs, so you're just going to come right down the side of that E25 that we've laid down there. And as we get in with the next lighter color, you're going to run out of space, and that's fine. Just keep using the same color until, or just keep going down your color list until everything is fully colored. Then we're going to take the E31, and I'm going to, again, start filling in the rest of the area, coming in a little bit more each time. Now I want this to be a little bit darker, so I'm going to leave a smaller area for the E30. The antlers I really don't want to be too light, so I'm going to just go ahead and fill those in with the E31. And then right along that side of his leg and that little bit on his toe, we're just going to go ahead and fill that in as well. Now let's go ahead and take that E30 for that highlight right along his nose. I'm just going to go over it a couple of times so it blends nicely into that E31. Now you can still see that it looks kind of blotchy, so I always like to go back and add a second coat. This really gets those colors moving and blending together. So I'm just going to lay down the E25 where I first laid it down. I'm not going to add any other colors. We want to go in that same order in those same spots. And then again with my E33. Oops. And then again with my E31, and you can see I went out of the lines a little bit right there, and I'm going to show you how I cover that up. So now I'm going to take my E31, and I don't really want to go back over with E30 again, so I'm just going to lightly brush over all of the areas, the lighter areas, using my E31, because as I'm coloring and I'm noticing it, I really like him a little bit darker. I don't want to have that really light highlight. All right, so let's go ahead and I lost my marker. Hang on a second. So I was looking for my R32. So right on the inside of his ears, I just want to make them a little pink. So I'm just going to add a little pink dot right in the center there. Gives it a little extra. So now, instead of using my colorless blender, the 0, to try to push that color back in, what happens sometimes is you push that color back in, and then it's going to create this like border because it's pushing all that ink in. So I usually, if I just mess up a little bit like that, if I'm going to end up cutting this out and I'm going to have that nice border going around from the matching dye, so I'm just going to take my white gel pen and use it as if it were whiteout, and just kind of go right along the side and fix your mistake. And I see that I forgot to color his hands, so I'm going to get back out my E25. And then I'm just going to take my E33. Since there's not a whole lot of room here, I'm just going to fill it in with the E33. All right, so now let's go ahead and color his sweater. So I decided to do his sweater in teal, so I'm going to be using the BG18, BG13, BG11, and I'm also going to be using N0 and N3 for some shadows with the stripes. I want them to be white. So let's start with our ends. So whatever we're going to color white, I want to use that first. So that way I don't take the chance of pulling in some of the teal into the white areas that I want to be white. So I'm just going to add a little bit of a shadow going along the bottom, skipping each one of these little stripes along his collar. And also going along the bottom here. All right, so then I'm going to take my N0 and I'm just going to come up a little bit more. So I'm just blurring out the edge of that N3 just to create a shadow, but I don't want to fill it in because I need that to still be white. I'm just going to touch up the little colors down there just for a little bit of a shadow. And then let's go ahead and get out the BG18. I'm going to put a nice shadow right underneath that big collar that he's got going on there. And also right where his arm is, because his arm is coming out and it's going to be casting a shadow onto the back side or the inside part of his jacket or sweater. I'm also going to make a little shadow going along the bottom. And right in that little corner. And then we're going to take the BG13. I'm going to come out a little bit more. We want to really pull that BG18 out. This time I'm going to go ahead and go up onto the sleeve a little bit more. So there's just a little bit of room left for that BG11. We're going to finish filling all of this area in that we have colored in our teal colors. And I'm going to go back with my BG13 just to get a better transition between the BG13 and BG11. And then I'm going to go back with my BG11. Now let's go ahead and get out some red colors. Let's make it teal and red. So let's get out R59, R37, and R35. I'm going to start with my R59, and let's make the collar have a red stripe. So I'm just coming along the bottom in between those gray ones that we colored. And since there's not a whole lot of room here, let's skip R37 for right now and just add R35. So if there's a really small area, I like to skip and fill in the rest of whatever color that we're using, and then we'll go back with the middle color if there's not a good transition, just to kind of give a little flick and kind of soften that transition between those two colors. So let's go ahead and take the BG18 again, and this stripe right down here, we're gonna make that also teal. Then I'm gonna take my BG13 and come in a little bit more. And then the BG11. And then let's take our R59, and I'm just gonna trace this little zigzag. And then I'm going to fill in my with the R35, that whole little area. And let's go ahead and just take this R35 and fill in the little squares down at the bottom. Oh, and let's go ahead and do his sleeve. So let's take the R59 again. Let's give it a little shadow going along the bottom, and then we're going to trace the inside of that little zigzag, and then we'll take the R37 and come up a little bit more, and then the R35. And we'll take the R59 and we're going to color in that little button there. And he's so cute. I can't wait to get him on my little card. So let's go ahead and give him a little bit of a shadow to the coffee cup. So I'm going to take my let's do E43 and my E41. And the little band on the coffee mug or cup, we're going to go ahead and color it brown. So I'm right behind the moose's hand. I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of that E43, and we're going to fill it in with the E41, just so it has a little bit more of a different color than the moose. All right, so he is all ready to be cut out so we can place on our card. Okay, so my moose is all cut out. I'm going to go ahead and place him on this side over here, and I think I'm going to put one of the little snowflakes right over here and another one down here. So let's get some foam dots on the back of my moose. All right, so I've glued him down. I've glued down that other snowflake. I'm going to go ahead and put this one down here, and let's cut up the sentiment so I can place it on our card. Okay, so I've gone ahead and cut up all of my little sentiment, and I'm going to place it on my tag just like that. So here you go, you can see how exactly I cut it up, and then I'm going to place it right in there. Alright, so I have everything glued down now, and I am ready to put my ribbon on. So what I did was I've taken some of this brown gingham ribbon, put it across, and just tied a cute little bow. And cut off the excess. And then I'm going to go ahead for the little loop and tie a little knot in my twine so it loops all the way around. like so. Cut off that excess. And then hide that little knot back in the back, and here you have it. Cute little tag. Have a little pocket for your money or for a gift card. And I absolutely just adore the way that these came out. I hope you enjoyed this month's tutorial, and I will see you again next month. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.